Hey everyone, it's EveryB here from HMSDaily.com and Happy New Year. Welcome to the third part of the Nintendo NX game controller concept videos. Like in the previous video, we are going to continue the discussion on the potential possibilities of the much rumoured Nintendo NX game controller. If you haven't seen the first two videos, then please take the time to check them out, as it helps to keep the topic of this video in context. Again, just as a reminder, these concepts are designed to illustrate how the Nintendo NX patent can be incorporated in a modern game controller design. So, without further ado, we're going to continue with the subject matter at hand. Now, I've been made aware of two more patents that were discovered in September 2015. Both patents were filed by Nintendo and could have further bearing on the NX game controller concepts, design and definition. So let's take a look at each patent. The first patent describes a method of haptic feedback that creates the illusion of substance and force across the touchscreen's real estate, as seen in this diagram. Now, what I want to do right now is take this moment to try and explain what this could mean for the Nintendo NX game controller concept. Now imagine if you had the NX game controller concept in your hand and the controller visually presented you with an image of a button that said "Press me." Now let's say you touched that button. What you would experience is a physical sensation that may feel similar to a form of button press or tactile response. What this means is that even if you weren't looking at the display, your sense of touch would recognize the tactile feedback as your thumb touched or pressed an active area of the screen's display. According to the patent, both the display button and the haptic feedback response could appear to take place anywhere on the touchscreen's real estate. And the patent also makes reference to sound, which seems to indicate that audio could appear to emanate from the same area that's touched. In this example, the image of the volume slider handle could provide persistent haptic feedback in conjunction with the volume slider's position, which can also be assisted with positional sound to further aid the user's perception of touch. So if we go back to the previous videos where the patent displayed content-specific visual cues or options within the games, you can start to build a plausible picture of how the touch screen mixed with haptic feedback may play an important role in the soon-to-be-released Nintendo NX game controller. Now I have to reaffirm that this patent is just one of many possible options Nintendo could action. Moving on, the second patent brings back to light the more recognized core controller setup. What I mean by this is the return of the face buttons and D-pad. So in light of this, I'll be making adjustments to the NX game controller concept to keep it in line with this new information. So let's get back to the patent. As you can see, this new patent brings more functionality to the NX game controller concept. I'm not sure what the final naming convention will be, but I'll be calling it the rotational shoulder button for the duration of this video. The rotational shoulder buttons appear to expand on the standard shoulder button functionality by including a rotating wheel. By rotating the wheel left or right, as well as the option to press down as a button, will allow developers to develop more options within their games. Considering this information, the rotational shoulder button has the potential to be as much of a revolution to controller design as the introduction of the shoulder button on the Super Nintendo back in the early 90s. So whilst I was trying to incorporate the rotational shoulder button into the design, I realized that there were two ways that this could be done. The first method implements the rotational shoulder button in the manner that's evident in the patent. As a cylindrical shape, your index finger can rest, slide, or press down on the button, as you can visualize from the image displayed. But in the second method, I made a few changes and incorporated the patent within the original shoulder button design. As you can see from the updated NX Game Controller concept image, I created an opening within the button's shell to allow for the rotational wheel to appear through it. This was conceived to marginalize the possibility of any accidental rotations when your index finger accesses the button, but it also pleasantly fits within the aesthetics of the design. As a side note, I would like to know what you, the viewer, thinks about this button in the comment section, and also what functionality you would like to see performed in the future. I will also be discussing this in more detail in future videos. We are now going to move on to the final part of today's discussion, and that is to address the idea that the NX Game Controller concept could be its own handheld games console. The idea alone is quite profound, and it makes us redefine our perception of what a game controller could be. The Wii U gamepad only seems to have scratched the surface, but for better or worse, it gave us such a good insight into what possibilities could await us. In the last video, I showed the controller and the position of the cartridge slot, which implied that this NX Game Controller concept would allow you, the user, to take your NX Game cartridge out of the NX Home console, place it in the NX Game Controller, and continue playing on the go. Now, this has never been done before. How would this game appear on a portable device? Could you imagine what that would look like? Could you imagine how you would feel turning this device on and playing a game like Splatoon for the first time? And could this be what you imagined? I've tried to deliver the best visual representation possible to illustrate the concept, and looking at the wider view of the NX Game Controller's concepts display gives us a clearer idea of what the future may hold. I hope you like what you've seen so far, and there's still so much more to come. I've tried to keep these videos within a specific time frame, so at times some information may have to be held over for another video. In the next video, I'm going to further explore the controller as a standalone game system, whilst looking at the potential launch games. I will also be creating new videos in relation to the NX Home console, and will be releasing more videos addressing other areas of the subject matter, so look out for those. I will try and create more rendered images of the controller to support the discussion, and placing the links to the high-res images in the description below. You can also check them out at The Collective on www.hmsdaily.com, and for those who want to use any of the images for their own channel or discussions, you can do so, but please credit me and the HMS Daily website. You can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Evie B for any announcements. The link is also in the description below. Please like, subscribe and comment on my videos, as your feedback will help me produce more content. If you like what you've seen, want to be notified when the next video is live, or just want to get involved in the discussion, click the subscribe button and feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you again for watching my videos. I'm Evie B from hmsdaily.com, and I'm signing out.